to call the meeting to order. Johanna, will you read the statement of compliance?
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the Press of Atlantic City, Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Please turn off all cell phones.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Johanna, please take the roll.
Mayor Collins?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
I am here.
Commissioner Horn? Here.
Welcome, everybody. We will begin with our engineering report. Ed?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, starting off with our dredging project, we are at a point now where we are coordinating with the DOT regarding the status of Dredge Hole 86, which is our named disposal site. So that is an ongoing process. We're trying to get some additional information on the status of that dredge hole, and that is one of the next steps to decide what our next step is to move our permit application through to DEP for completion. So we'll keep everybody updated on that. At the same time, we are continuing to pursue the Shelter Island site. We sent some follow-up communication in the last week or so to try to push that along on a parallel track to our dredging permit. So we'll keep everybody posted there. Item C, you're going to hear a whole lot about in 15 minutes or so. That's the Washington Avenue and Ventnor Avenue Transit Improvement Streetscape Project. We're going to do a detailed presentation on that shortly, so we'll have a lot more on that. Item D is the Amherst Avenue Resiliency Project, the pump station project. We submitted all of our documentation to the Green Acres program to move that diversion process along. It is a lengthy process. We are coordinating with FEMA to make sure that we have all of our reports up to date with them, since they are funding a big portion of this project, and we've requested an appropriate time extension due to the lengthy Green Acres process. So we continue to make progress there, although a little at a time. Item E is the Winchester Avenue project, which has been sent over to DOT for approval to go out to bid. So that will be a future construction project. The 2024 road program is in the final stages of design. Our lead service line replacement project has been sent up to the I-Bank for review and approval to go out to bid. We're essentially at the finish line, so we should be getting authorization to bid soon to move that project forward, and I believe there's some funding being budgeted with an ordinance today to advance that project, the first phase of that project forward. Public Works building, likewise, we are essentially at the end of the design process. We're doing our final review, some value engineering now that we kind of have the final design, and we will be updating everyone on the status of that project and its timeline. Flipping the page to item I, the Ventnor Avenue parking lot. The site plan for that project is more or less complete. We are working on the demolition process for the building and structure on that site. So that is in progress, and the parking lot itself is making its way towards final design. The Atlantic Avenue bike lane project is with DOT. We did send it up to get their authorization to bid. They came back to us with some comments, which we addressed. So this should be the last round of review, and then we will get their approval to go out to bid. That will likely be a fall project, but we would have our contractor ready to go. Item E is the Atlantic Avenue project, which is in design. The stormwater ordinance and mapping assistance, we continue to work on to comply with the latest round of comments from DEP. No update on our grants. Jumping down to our construction projects, there's a couple projects on there that we are releasing the maintenance bond on that were coming due in May, so they'll drop off the list. A couple projects on our closeout list will also be crossed off the list. The 2021 road program and the 22 DOT Winchester Avenue project have been fully closed out, and we added a new project to that list, which is the Winchester Avenue, Benson Avenue water main project, which is just now in the final closeout stages. So that project is complete. 2023 road program is in progress. Whether that project will play out is the contractor will complete all work on Fremont Avenue, Kenyon Avenue, and Nassau Avenue by mid-June. They'll then shut down, and then they will return after the summer season to finish the balance of the project. Winchester Avenue project is substantially complete, like I mentioned. Flipping the page to the basketball courts, I was just talking to Andrew about a meeting we're scheduling with the contractor to get this project started in construction. We had our pre-construction meeting, so we're just looking to get a start date so we can get that work completed for the busy summer season. Thurlow Avenue, the contractor is scheduled to complete all work before Memorial Day, so that project will be complete in full, including the additional work that we added. The 2024 curb and gutter program is complete, and we just have some punch list items that are being addressed. Municipal buildings in progress. The walkway project is the same contractor as the basketball court, so we're coordinating those together schedule-wise. And then we have our restroom building project. We had our pre-construction meeting, and we are coordinating the schedule with that contractor as well. That's my report.
Great. Thank you, Ed. We'll move forward with our department head reports. Chief Adams, would you like to begin, please?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. First off, I want to say what a great event we had this past weekend on Sunday. We held the annual community-wide Easter egg hunt on Sunday, April 13th. We had several hundred children participate, and we did have a special visit from the Easter Bunny, so all the kids were very happy to see the Easter Bunny and take part in that event. I do want to say a special thank you to the Margate Business Association and FMBA Local 41 for sponsoring this event, and thanks to Public Works for setting up the temporary fencing around the areas for the hunt. Last night, the Margate City Fire Department hosted the annual Atlantic County Firefighter Association Valor Award ceremony. It's a great event. Probably about 15 years ago, I was approached by Whitey Schwartz because another town had dropped the event, and he asked if Margate would take over and host and sponsor the event. And we've been doing it for about 15 years now, but it's a great night because they honor the volunteer firefighters. And I say that volunteer because career firefighters can't work 50 years as a career firefighter due to an age restriction. But these volunteers, they had 3 volunteers last night that they honored for 50 years of service. And there was 2 from Absecon and 1 from Estelle Manor. And it just shows you the commitment to the public that these people have. And it's an honor for Margate to be there and be able to host this event year after year. And lastly, I just want to say to everyone, have a happy Passover and happy Easter. Enjoy this time with your family and friends, because those days and those times you're never going to get back. So enjoy every minute that you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know next weekend we'll be hosting the Coaches versus Cancer Baseball Classic, which is a high school baseball showcase tournament. That's going to be Thursday through Sunday out on the ball fields. So if you're looking to catch some talented high school baseball, you can head out there. There'll be games all day, each day. And just wanted to remind everyone, beach tags are on sale while everyone's here in town for the Easter weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 to 3 at the Bloom Pavilion. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Hankinson?
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. First of all, just on the agenda tonight, you'll see the resolution for the Cherry Blossom Festival. Again, it's a good event, Sunday, May 4th. There is some traffic detours, but we always try to let people know ahead of time. It's really not that much of a detour, but Ventnor Avenue will be closed for a substantial part for the Cherry Blossoms Festival. You either have to go up to Atlantic Avenue, down to Winchester, down to Monmouth, just for those hours on Sunday, so you'll see that on the agenda. As I said last time, the police department is involved with the You Text, You Drive, You Pay campaign. We started in a coordination with the county and some grants we had on April 1st. As of today, we've had approximately 140 motor vehicle stops regarding the campaign with 70-plus tickets issued. So it just goes to show even our small community how much distracted driving happens in our town. I have some pamphlets on the top right there, if anybody would like to look at it, about distracted driving, about how important it is that we put our cell phones down, at least while we're driving. Probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll see our traffic maintenance out and about, freshening up our pedestrian crosswalks, our yellow corners. He'll be working at night to try to limit the impact to traffic. So overnight, you will see our traffic maintenance out and about, painting on Ventnor Avenue, painting on different areas around the town, just to get everything clear and visible for the summer season. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Palma?
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The building department remains busy. Permits are steady, and the seasonal rental applications are rolling in. Since the dust control ordinance was adopted at last meeting, we've tried to focus on outreach, and mass email went out to contractors last week with the ordinance and some informative flyers. And we also are including a copy of that ordinance with all permit application packages that we give out. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Anthony?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. The city yard will be closed this Sunday for the Easter holiday. Mulch has come in. The guys have been busy mulching city properties and locations such as the native plant garden at City Hall. The beach overpasses have started to be cleaned up and addressed in preparation for the summer. 8 new lifeguard stands have been built and are ready to be deployed onto the beaches. Last Saturday, we participated in the biannual Clean Ocean Action beach sweeps. The weather didn't cooperate, unfortunately, but we still had about 15 people come out in rain gear to clean, which was very nice of them. On Saturday, May 3rd, we'll be having our paper shredding event at Margate Public Works, 101 North Benson Avenue. It's open to residents of Longport and Margate with proof of residency. It's going to be from 9 to 12. The veterans banners for the Hometown Heroes project are in production, and the brackets have arrived yesterday. These will be installed prior to Memorial Day. Thanks. That's all I have.
Great, thank you, Anthony. Scott?
It is with great disappointment the issue about dredging. We've been advised now that the DOT doesn't want us to use Dredge Hole 86, which is off of Chelsea Heights. That was our primary designated disposal site. Of course, we want to use Shelter Island. Really, that would be best, probably cheapest, but there's so many hurdles that the DEP has put up with regard to possibly using Shelter, although by maybe denying us 86, that may help us get us Shelter Island. It could work that way. Nevertheless, it'd be nice to have that position of Shelter Island. It is 60 foot deep. It does have a capacity of over 700,000 cubic yards. We're not talking even half of that. So I would suggest that we have a call for a meeting with the appropriate individuals at the DEP and the DOT. DOT controls dredging in the Back Bay. You would think it's a DEP, but now the DOT has a big say in that. And I think we should request a meeting, this governing body. We have designated 86 as our disposal site. We had a draft agreement with the DEP. It isn't just like we just dreamed this up. We've had meetings after meetings. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with all of our bathymetrics, our lab testing, everything else. It's just every time we seem to be just about to get our permit, there becomes another obstacle by a state agency. It's incredible how difficult they make this. 50 years ago, they would have put it on the beach. As I always like to say, it was good enough for Grace Kelly over in Ocean City, because that's how Ocean City did it forever. But the state won't let us do that. Rather, they'd spend billions of dollars with their beach replenishment instead. But we need to, I think, push back on this, because it's going to it's not feasible for us to truck dredging material out. That would be very, very costly. So we need that dredge hole, or at least some of it. So one proof. Second thing would be the agreement with Argyle Avenue LLC, 109 South Argyle. I sent out a draft. As you know, last meeting we approved Mr. Lear. He is the beachfront owner there. He wants to donate the street end and handicapped access and stairway. I have a rough agreement. We're going back and forth how to have security. In other words, if he takes out the street end, but then something happens and they don't build the street end, one of the ways we came up is he would put the money into an escrow. I wish Lisa was here tonight. We could talk about that, but I'll talk about it with her. So in other words, I don't want us to get caught where somebody pulled it out, something happens, and he doesn't do it. So I want the security there and the money. But I do have an agreement floating around, not floating around. I've sent it to Eddie, to Lisa, to Pat, and we'll get this worked out. He's not going to do the work till after Labor Day, so we're in good shape. And third, I'd like to, if we have the time tonight, I'd like to go into closed session on a possible litigation. Just came up yesterday. I'll be very brief, but I do need some direction from the three of you, and we'll do that towards the end of the meeting. Okay?
Thank you, Scott.
May I just clarify one thing? I completely share in Scott's frustration with the DOT and with the dredge hole, and I don't necessarily disagree that we shouldn't continue to pursue dredge hole 86. Scott mentioned that we've spent a lot of money to get to this point. I just wanted to be clear for the public and for everyone, all of that work has not gone to waste, right? So,
And much of it was grant money.
right, and if we do have to change the disposal site, everything we've done is still valid. Everything we've done has to do with our dredge areas that we're going to be dredging. If we changed the disposal site, then we would just need to identify a different disposal site. All the sampling that we've done, all the surveying that we've done, all the engineering that we've done is valid and will remain in effect for our actual dredging permit. I just didn't want anybody to be misled that we're at some dead end, we need to start over.
I agree 100%. You're correct. I got that. But it is extremely frustrating. Because, like I say, we had a draft agreement with them. It just wasn't discussion. It was like, here it is. It's part of your permit. And now they change their mind.
Yeah.
Oh, the government.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Welcome.
Pat?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Just pretty much I've been involved in everything that you've heard up here so far in some way, shape, or form, along with, helping out the draft some of these ordinances you'll see here tonight. Numerous resolutions, dealt with some personal matters, or personnel matters, not personal matters, legal issues, and several projects. So, with that being said, I would like to have some clarification regarding the ordinance on blowers. I know this seems like we've been kicking around this for the last couple of meetings. I just need a rock solid answer as to how we want this written. Do we want to do away with backpack blowers completely? Do we want to allow them to be within 100 foot of a house? Do we want to eventually, or give them a schedule that they can't be used in a certain period of time? And then there was some talk about the other blowers, additional blowers like gas blowers. Just trying to get so that we do this once and we do it correctly.
Yes, I guess I can start with some feedback there. The Sustainable Jersey action plan for this involves, it says first thing we should do is engage the landscapers because this will affect their way of life. So I think we need to do that and get them and have them a part of this conversation. And I believe we should do a ban, but I believe it should be phased in, which again is part of the Sustainable Jersey's action plan. So I think it's necessary to take those steps, but it's going to be a multi-step effort before we get there.
Does anybody else have any direction? We were looking at possibly setting up something so that we would have like a date where the black backpack blowers would not be allowed to be used after that unless it was within 100 foot of a house or past 100 foot of a house. And then I guess at some point, do we want to go further, or do we want to have that meeting with the landscapers first? Do we want to see if we can advertise a meeting and see if we can come up with something so that they're able to discuss their concerns or anything with me or Roger, who's probably going to be doing most of the drafting?
I agree. Have the meeting first.
Johanna, do you have a list of landscapers that apply for mercantile licenses?
No, it's not done through the municipality anymore.
Okay. So I think we just, Palma, I don't know if you have any information, maybe through the construction department and with any contact
Typically, the
information so
work-
we can form a,
Yeah. I mean, typically the work that they do does not require permits unless it's like pavers or something. I don't know that I'd have like a list of landscapers, but
okay, Pat, maybe we can try to
I try to look into it.
generate that list and set up a meeting where we can
We can
have some
advertise.
consultation.
That's what I figured. If we could just advertise, maybe put something on our website, come up with something that we could actually sit down and get some input, if that's what you guys wish.
Okay.
Pat, am I correct in that that backpack blowers were banned here in Margate for many, many years?
From the discussions I've had with Roger and with code enforcement, John Bonner, they both said the same thing. At one point, they believed that there was something in the ordinance, and then it was gone from the ordinance. And I know that, as a matter everybody's belief that at some point it was in there.
So why do we have to guess? Don't we have the ability, doesn't the clerk have the ability to research that for us?
Commissioner,
Yes, I could ask her that if you like.
if I'm not mistaken, and I could be incorrect here, but I believe about at least 15 years ago, maybe even longer than that, there was proposed, but I believe it was tabled and never researched again. But I believe it was, and then it was tabled at the meeting, and then it was never brought up again. And that had to be at least, I'd say, 15 years ago.
I
Okay.
have researched it, Commissioner.
And you can't find anything that they were ever banned?
No.
That they've never been banned? Okay, so for me, this is, what we're discussing here is kicking the can down the road. The idea is that this, and I hate to be repetitive, is a quality of life issue. The noise is incredibly loud and disruptive, and I don't think we're hurting these landscapers by telling them you can no longer use your backpack blowers. I agree that we could phase in the idea that you can continue to use your handheld gas blowers for a couple of years. And again, the state is looking at banning all of these gas blowers, not just the backpack blowers. So let's do what Longport does, ban them, notify the contractors. We can give them warnings that if we see them using the backpacks that they're banned, and then proceed with fining them. But again, to try and gather up landscapers, meet with them, find out the ones that have them and the ones that don't have them, it's especially now that I find we don't have a list, it's a long, involved process. It's just, for me, kicking the can down the road. I think we should take action. The Sustainable Margate team has given us literature and data and recommend that we move to ban them. So let's do it. Let's get it done, and let's try and improve the quality of life for the people that are here in the summertime and not have to listen to the, backpack blowers.
Commissioner Blumberg, my only concern, I agree with you, but my only concern is this is their busy season. They've already purchased equipment. We have them in the city. Nothing's on sale right now. They're going to have some planning to do. So if we hold a meeting or advertise a meeting and no one comes, then so be it. But at least we're trying to involve them in the process. I do agree. It's just a matter of time, but.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think the literature we're getting from our Sustainable Margate team is from the Sustainable Jersey team, which says first step is to engage the landscaper. So I think it's important to do that. My recommendation to our administrator after the discussion from previous meetings was to ban them, but phase it in over time. In that time period while the phase-in is occurring, that's when we can engage with the landscapers and the other people involved.
Sounds like we're all on the same page.
So,
It's a matter of time.
all right,
Good by me.
Thank you.
that's it, Pat? All right, thank you. Johanna?
Mail-in ballots will be mailed out for the primaries on the 19th of April, and the drop box is out front here if anyone chooses to use them. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, we will now hand it back over to Ed and team for the Washington Avenue Streetscape presentation.
Hi, everybody. Just a couple housekeeping items. I'm Ed Dennis. I'm the city engineer, for those that I haven't met. So we're going to do a presentation on this project. I'm going to go over the project in some pretty good detail. This is a federally funded project, so if you do happen to comment, there's going to be an opportunity for people to come up, ask questions, comment on the plans. We have a sign-in sheet here, so if you could sign in, that's something that's required by the DOT as part of the federal aid process. So if you do come up, please just sign in. I'm joined here by Joe and Tyler from my office who helped put this together. So they may chime in as needed. This project is actually a twofold project. It is streetscape on Washington Avenue and also some transit improvements on the Ventnor Avenue Parkway. Just a little bit of background on how we got here. The city's master plan update that was approved in 2017 included a new Washington Avenue pedestrian corridor, which is essentially in this zone of the main project area. And the intent of that new zone was to provide a pedestrian-friendly connection that would connect the central business district on Ventnor Avenue to the beach and then to our waterfront, in the waterfront special district on Amherst Avenue. So this project really is complementary and really the fruition of that concept and that objective of the master plan that was approved in 2017. In that pursuit, over the past, let's call it 5 years, we looked for different avenues of funding to fund a project like this. We were successful in obtaining 2 grants, both through the NJDOT. One is a state-funded grant through the fiscal year 2023 Safe Streets to Transit program, and that grant amount was $162,000. That was mainly focused on the curb ramps, which are at the intersections, the sidewalk ramps that kind of get you up and down from the street to the sidewalk, and also that grant pays for some of the minor improvements we're doing on Ventnor Avenue by the bus stops, which I'll go over. In addition to that, we were able to secure a grant through the NJDOT Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program, which is actually a federal funding source that goes through the NJDOT, and that grant amount was for $1.5 million. So that was the big grant. It's a very competitive grant program, and we were successful in obtaining that grant. And it's worth noting that one of the reasons I believe we obtained that grant is because we had the master plan behind a project like this. One of the things the grant agencies look for is this project, was it just dreamed up in a vacuum, or is this part of some larger plan that the city has put thought into? And this certainly reflects that type of a project, and I think that's why we scored high and we were able to secure that funding. And my last part of the background is that throughout this design process, we had a steering committee that we met with several times as we were developing the design for this project. That steering committee included business owners, it included city officials, public safety, and other stakeholders in the project. For these types of projects, I really do like having that interaction, and I can honestly tell you that input from that group changed this plan in very significant ways, and I think made it a better project. So I want to thank the people that participated in that process. What I have on the board here is just kind of a snapshot of the project. This is actually the Amherst Avenue end, and heading towards the beach. We have boards here for the entire project. We have boards that show the before and after conditions. I'll hang around after the meeting if people want to come up and see some of this in detail. We also have a full set of engineering drawings. If that tickles your fancy, we'll roll the plans out and take a look at the plans. But it's all here for everyone to see in detail, but I figured this was a good snapshot to kind of go over what we're proposing to do. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the easy part, so to speak, which is the Ventnor Avenue Parkway improvements. There are going to be 8 new benches installed at bus stops, and that's the limit of that improvement. So we're going to have new benches on concrete pads. That's not shown on this plan, pretty easy to understand. But that is part of this project, and that is covered through one of the NJDOT grants. The main part of this project is Washington Avenue, so from the beach all the way to the bay. I'm going to cover the design at a high level. I'll give kind of some factoids on what's going to be implemented here. So at a high level, the main and major change that you will see when this project is implemented is we're going to reconfigure Washington Avenue to a one-way street heading from the beach to the bay. So westbound or northbound, whichever way you want to look at it. So right now, Washington Avenue is mainly a two-way street. There is a one-way section of Washington Avenue from Pacific to Ventnor Avenue, so right near the Wawa. But we will be changing this entire stretch to a one-way street from Atlantic up to Amherst Avenue. What that allows us to do is it allows us to add in a two-way bike lane on Washington Avenue. So it will be a bike lane on one side of the road, and I'll go into that in a little more detail, but we were able to gain that space by making this a one-way street. It's important to note that parking will remain on both sides of the roadway, so we're not impacting that as part of this reconfiguration. And in addition to that, and part of why this process took a little while to get through the design, is we did do traffic counts last summer. So we did peak traffic counts. They're actually done in August on a busy Saturday. And we wanted to study those counts to make sure that making this change wasn't going to have significant impacts on surrounding streets. And based on a study of those counts, we did not see any significant increase in delays on other streets due to this change. I mentioned the bike lane. So this is a major feature of this project. I think it makes the project unique. And it certainly is complementary of the master plan, calling for pedestrian-friendly, bicycle-friendly corridor. So this is a two-way bike lane. As you can see on the plan here, the bike lane will be located on the south side of the road, so on the Longport side of Washington Avenue. It will be at street level, so the bike lane will still be at street level. The bike lane will be connecting the bike lanes that currently exist on Atlantic Avenue. So we have our bike lanes on Atlantic, and it will obviously then tie into the one-way bike lane that we have on the Amherst Avenue waterfront. So the idea was to tie those together. One feature I did want to point out is actually two features. The bike lane itself, and it's not shown on this sheet, but the bike lane will stop at Ventnor Avenue and then start back up, so that you're not going to have a green bike lane crossing over Ventnor Avenue. So if someone were using the bike lane, they'd have to cross in the normal crosswalk and then continue on the bike path. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that at all the intersections, we will have what's called a flexible delineator. It's basically a flexible bollard, and that's just to prevent any confusion for people driving down the bike lanes when they're at the corners. So that will be included as part of the design. Another key feature to the roadway reconfiguration are these bump outs that you see at all the intersections. Those are decorative brick paver bump outs. The purpose of those bump outs are they provide a traffic calming component to the project, so it helps slow traffic down when you kind of have those bump outs at those corners. In addition to that, it shortens the crosswalk, which is a pedestrian safety feature. When you have the intersections bumping out at the corners, you have less of a walk when you're crossing the street, so that increases pedestrian safety. And one important note on the design of these bump outs that I just want to point out is on the south side of the road, so on the bike lane side of the road, these bump outs are going to be flush with the street. So you're not going to have a bump out island just kind of popping up in the middle of the street. I think it's safer, and I think it's also going to help with traffic circulation, turning movements, that type of thing. So all these bump outs on the bike lane side will be flush. The bump outs on the other side would just continue into the curb and sidewalk on those sides. So that really covers the major, I would say, realignment and reconfiguration of the road, which again is intended to provide that pedestrian and bicycle connection, make it a more pedestrian-friendly environment with some of the traffic calming that I mentioned. Other key features of the project that will be constructed, you can see from the illustration here, is we will be replacing all the existing sidewalks with new brick paver sidewalks in the same style that you see out front of this building here, with the brick paver style sidewalks and driveway aprons. We will be replacing a big chunk of the curb and gutter. We will be able to save some curb, some gutter in certain areas, but there will be a lot of curb and gutter that will be replaced. All of the concrete curb ramps, which again are those ramps that at the corners that you walk up and down to the crosswalks, they will all be upgraded and replaced and ADA compliant as part of this project. We will be planting 47 new street trees along this corridor as part of the streetscape. 44 new decorative streetlights will be installed as part of this project. The trees are going to be the same types of trees that we have planted out here. We're not using tree grates on this project, but you will have those, I believe they're honey locusts, that will be planted as part of this project. And then the streetlights that will be installed are the same style that are currently on Ventnor Avenue. So we'll have that matching on this project. The project includes the installation of electric conduits, so that if we wanted to run decorative holiday lights or something like that on the trees, we would be able to add that in the future. We wouldn't need to dig anything up. There will be some pedestrian benches and some bike racks that will be installed as part of this project. And that's all the stuff you see. In addition to that, when we do this project, we're also going to be doing some utility work, because now's the time to do it, because at the end of the job, we're going to repave the street. So while we are working in the street, we will also be replacing the water main, and all the water services will be replaced and upgraded as part of this project. There will be some selective sanitary sewer work done on the beach block. The rest of the sanitary sewer is in pretty good shape, but we will be updating the sanitary sewer in the beach block. There is a little bit of drainage, storm sewer work that we'll need to do. That's mainly due to a lot of the reconfiguration. We got to make sure that the drainage in the street still drains properly. And then, like I said, we'll be milling, paving, and restriping this road once we are done all of the work. And then, of course, with this type of a project, butting up to a lot of private properties, the project includes all site restoration to make sure everything is put back equal or greater than what was there before we started. So that kind of covers what the project is, what will physically be constructed out there. Like I said, we're not eliminating parking on our other side of the street, so parking is going to, on-street parking will remain on both sides of the street. We are adding a new loading zone in front of the city parking lot close to Ventnor Avenue. That came out of the steering committee discussions, that there's a lot of loading and unloading activity in that area. We're adding a loading zone to try to help control that. Cost-wise, the total construction cost for this project is about $3.5 million. And like I said, we have about $1.6 million in grant funding that comes up to about 47% grant-funded project, so about half the project is being funded with grants. I could say that that is a much higher ratio than what we typically see when we do a project through a DOT grant. So that $1.5 million is a real key to help fund this project. And then other than that, I just wanted to touch on the schedule. Like I said, this is a federally funded project. The $1.5 million is a federal grant. So we are expecting to receive our federal authorization to bid sometime in May. And then our plan would be to award the construction contract this summer so that work can start in the fall, and we would be done by the spring, around this time next year. So big project. It's a lot of work. It's taken us some time to get here, but I think it's an exciting project for the city. Like I said, it's consistent with our master plan. I think it's a project to be excited. I know I'm excited about it, and we're happy to present it to you. So I'll pause there. I don't know if you guys have any comments that you want to make or questions that you guys have before we open it up to the public.
No real questions, but just to reiterate what Ed said, steering committee did put some time into this. Chief Hankinson was a part of that committee. We had representatives from our Citizens Advisory, representatives from our Green Team, and then local business owners and homeowners in the area as well. So it was a lot of good minds, a lot of good ideas that kind of led us to here. I think it's a great project. Again, anything we can do to promote walking, biking, and the pedestrian traffic, I think is great, especially in a town that parking is limited. So, I think it's great, and I look forward to next summer when it's done.
Amen. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Steve Baglio, 9600 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 713, Margate. You mentioned, or you referenced lighting trees through this corridor. Will those outlets or electric source be tied into the light stands that accompany that area?
So the lighting, the outlets and the electrical for lights on trees are not included in this project. We're just running the conduit. So in the future, we could install outlets or things
So that's
like
a future plan?
Correct.
Okay. Are there tree grates on the, what did you say, 45 or 47 trees?
There are not tree grates.
No tree grates. Is there written specifications for this type of streetscape that the city complies with? As an example, my own project on Ventnor Avenue, I was verbally told these are the requirements. One of the requirements was tree grates that cost almost $1,000 a piece. Why would it apply to my location in reference to streetscape, but not this project that's federally funded?
Yeah, I don't know the details of your project or your location.
Is there specific detailed writings in relationship to the type of streetscape that would apply to this project?
By what source?
Well, when I started my project, I was told you need brick, like you have. I was told you need trees, and that was picked by Mr. McLaren, no written specifications. I was also told I needed a specific tree grate, which a competitor developer didn't need to use, but I had to use. I was told there was a specific light stand, which you're using. You said, just like on Ventnor Avenue, which was what I was told. And I'm just trying to get a handle on what are the specific written, approved specifications for this grant federally that you submitted that would be the standard for the city of Margate,
We prepare the specifications for this project.
randomly?
Well, no, not randomly. I'm a licensed engineer, so
No,
I'll
but I understand.
prepare specifications.
So 10 years ago, or sometime in the past, someone put streetscape in front of Starbucks, right?
I don't know.
Castles,
Okay.
right? Or in front of Johnny's Cafe. There's specific bricks, there's specific light stands, there's specific tree grates. Is there specific writings that should be complied with in reference to this
I
project?
think you're mixing two different things. It sounds like you're referring to private development. There's all types of
No.
regulations that apply to private
No,
development.
they were sir, the ones
Yes,
I'm
Steve,
referring
but
to
these
grant.
questions have to be related,
Yeah.
for this presentation, has to be related strictly to this project.
Well, I'm asking you if there's specific guidelines
Yes,
that
we
Margate
wrote-
has written that they're complying with for this specific project.
Yes, we wrote them.
You wrote them.
Yes.
So there wasn't Margate's guidelines. You wrote new guidelines for this project,
We
correct?
prepared specifications for this project as a
All right,
city.
that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Steve, you need him to sign,
Yeah, could you please?
sign in,
if
could
you
you
don't mind?
please sign in?
Why do I need to sign?
Ed mentioned it because it's a federal grant.
You don't even want to give your address. You want me to sign in. You won't even give your address.
The DOT asked if
I don't mind. I'll sign in. I don't mind.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just asking the question.
Hi, Sherry Lilienfeld. I'm a full-time resident of Margate and an active member of the Margate Green Team. Related to this project and a couple of other ones you mentioned, I always get into the pervious
Paving.
paving and asphalt, and I realize you're putting in a lot of trees, which helps with the drainage and stuff, but all these bike paths and stuff, are they appropriate for pervious asphalt, or is it not
Tried,
durable?
and I told Joe you were going to be very disappointed, but we couldn't do pervious paving here because of the paint on the bike lane.
Okay, so it's not practical because of the paint.
That's right.
And then what about, bricks are not pervious.
They're not. Well, they're porous.
Water will not, yeah. They're sealed and stuff. So is there any options that look like the brick, but is maybe more amenable to water runoff and drainage
So
and
I think,
stuff like that?
there's a design consistency I think we have here, that we want to stay consistent with the type of brick pavers we have through, in other parts of the city. So we're staying consistent with that.
Yeah, I figured that has to be consistent. Okay, and then, so this part of the public comment is just on your presentation?
Yep, please.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it looks really nice, and, yeah, the bike lane and the trees, great. And yes, you knew I was gonna be disappointed about the pervious space, but thank you.
You don't need me to restate my name and everything, do you? Who, other than yourself or your organization, was involved in the development of this streetscape? As an example, zoning, the other programs or departments of the city, the police department, who was involved in the development of this plan?
So I don't have a roster of the steering committee, but I think the chief sat in on those meetings. Mike, I don't know if you remember who else, but there were other city departments that were part of the steering committee. I guess is the best way I could answer that.
Is there a way to find out what departments were involved in this
Sure,
development?
we could follow up and tell you, right? It's not a secret list.
Yeah, I don't know that there were other city employees other than you, chief. Is
Roger
that
was there, I think.
Roger? So Brian Duffy was representing the Citizens Advisory Committee, not the fire department.
So what I'm edging towards is, how did the guidelines get set for that brick, or that bike lane, or that type of egress for pedestrians across the, other than your engineering firm, who else had input on how they would like to see this accomplished?
I don't know. You keep referring to guidelines, and I don't know what you're referring to, so I can't answer that question.
So when I built my development
I
on Ventnor
understand.
Avenue, I was provided a verbal guideline of what they wanted done. I'm just trying to find out if that's a standard or it's not a standard. Do you know if it's a
I
standard
think
or not?
you're mixing apples and oranges.
Yeah, Steve, it's not related to this project, so you can ask those questions.
No problem.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. I'm Joel Naroff. I'm at 223 North Washington. Okay, so you're right in front of, and this is a great idea. I really like this. The only question I have has to do with the trees. I know there are people that love trees, but how tall do those trees run? And the reason I ask that question is that you buy houses so that down there so you can look at the water, not look at the trees. So the question is, are they going to be trees that are going to be so high that I lose the view of the water?
So, I mean, when they're planted, they're going to be...
Well, not when they're planted. We expect them to be mature at some time.
Right.
I mean,
Unfortunately, I don't have a precise answer for you. I could follow up and get you an
yeah, I
answer.
really would appreciate you.
If you could
Yes,
maybe
I'll
leave
do
some
that.
contact information with your name there. Thank you.
All right, anyone else have comments for Ed?
Hi, Kathy Hudson, 22 South Adams Avenue. Quick question. Because there's going to be two-way bike lanes as well as parking on the street, how much narrower will Washington Avenue now be then?
The drive lane will be 12 feet, which is a standard lane width.
And what is it now? Just,
Well, now you have, it's two-way, so it's, you know,
right,
it's...
right. Well, it's not two-way here, but yeah.
Right. So if you figure, if you're adding a 10-foot bike lane and you're taking away, so you're taking away 10 feet of the street is really what you're doing, right?
So it's going to be substantially.
No, but you're taking away a drive lane, right? So you're taking away 10 feet for the bike lane, but you're going to only have one lane of traffic,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So
but
you'll
you're still going to have a lot of traffic.
Yeah, understood. Yep.
Okay,
Got it. Yep.
thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
John Pitts, 413 North Huntington in Margate. In reference to what Mr. Baglivo was talking about, in Chapter 175 of the City Code, there are specifics around the pavers, the tree pits, the grates, which we see on most of Ventnor Avenue. But we're not necessarily adhering to that here? Do I understand that correctly?
I don't know that we're...
Well, you said there were no grates. You said there were no
I think
tree
it was a
grates.
maintenance, right, item, Joe? Popping the grates up, yeah, right. So, not to on this project, yep.
Okay, I love the project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other comments, questions for Ed? All right, thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open up to public comment for our workshop meeting. So any items discussed in this meeting, if anyone has any comment on those, please step forward to the microphone.
Sherry Lilienfeld. I signed in before. A couple of things. First of all, no, I signed in. I follow the rules. I just wanted to comment, all of you, first of all, about the leaf blowers and really looking at a safer, healthier environment for Margate, and also, obviously, what's been going on with the construction dust ordinance. PAMA and the building department have been amazing and thorough, and notifying people, educating them, and as you know, the most important thing is people understand and are aware, and then they start following. But anyway, that was just one short thing. So Ed, I couldn't ask before, pervious space on all the municipal projects. The walkway, the new municipal building, there's lots of green infrastructure that can be incorporated in those designs, so do you have a comment on them?
Well, the walkway will include pervious pavement.
Yay! And what about the new municipal building? Green roofs, anything like that? You said that there's a new public works, oh, that's
the new
interior.
public works building, so that site is not finalized yet. We can take a look, see if there's an opportunity there for that.
Oh, always just remind you, just to keep it top of mind, so thank you. So quick question about the Ventnor parking lot. I guess I'm going to address this to Solicitor Abbott. I know you've purchased it, and Exxon, was it Exxon? Yeah, was involved. ExxonMobil, yes. Where is the contamination? Like, I'm sure you have maps of contamination, like, and I had seen maps that it, like, had went out to the street. And, like, what's the plan and the timing for the contamination?
You want me to answer?
You or Ed, I mean, if Ed wants to take it.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, you're right, we do have a map. I think there's an underground storage tank under one of the existing buildings that'll be removed by Exxon once we demolish the building. There were a couple areas of soil that are defined on site that Exxon will remove when they come on site to remove the tank. There was an area up near Ventnor Avenue that we had an area of concern that we investigated, and we didn't find a tank there, so that doesn't need to be addressed. And generally speaking, I think that's what's left, and that'll be, so the order of events would be once we have a demolition contractor on board, we'll be coordinating with Exxon for the removal of those contaminants on site.
So just understanding oil contamination and being on a barrier island, contamination can spread. I guess right now we have the truck, the food truck that's down, like, and that was like right across the street. Is it possible there was maybe contamination there, and like now would be a great time, if there was, to have that cleaned up? Like, do we know if there was contamination under the food truck? Do you know what I'm talking? It's right catty corner.
Yes, that's a separate site. I don't really have any information on that.
No, Sherry, I believe there's 19 monitoring wells. Is it 19?
Yeah, I was
correct?
going to say
Yeah.
that the
So
contamination related to this site is very, very highly monitored according to DEP regulations.
So 19 monitoring wells on the site.
On the site. Okay.
On the site of the future parking lot for the city. We get data from them. They provide that to Ed, and they, certainly that will be something that we will get ongoing. I look at this as a way to speed up the process. We're now having soil removed.
Yeah.
They would have been in place for the next, I believe when we met with them, they said 25 to 50 years. This is a way to speed up that process, because we're going to remove a lot of that contaminated soil and just outright get rid of it, as opposed to it dissipating over time.
Yeah, sure. It takes forever, right? Yeah. But, so under Ventnor Avenue or whatever, you don't know if contamination has spread under that? Because it does spread when we're on a barrier island and the water table being high.
So that corner, and again, Scott and some other people in the room could probably address this, that corner had 4 gas stations at one point. Across the street was a gas station. So that entire area at one point, there were 6 to 8 gas stations in Margate at one point, and most of them were located in that area. So other contamination might be on other sites related to their projects. This site, the monitoring wells, they're used to tell us where the concentrations are that were affected by this.
And just generally speaking, just through the course of due diligence, those monitoring wells are basically showing that natural dissipation is a safe way to deal with the groundwater issues. So that what that basically means is that the levels that it's at is safe enough, I guess you could say, to allow it to just naturally dissipate over time.
Okay, well, great. And Exxon's paying for this, right? Yep. Even better. Okay. No, I just thought, like, if there was potential spread of contamination to where the burger truck was, that now would be a great time to clean up. Like you said, when you just remove the dirt, and it's a lot better than dissipation. So just a thought. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Steve Bagleyville, 9600 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 713. In reference to the blowers, landscape blowers, I know it was mentioned or asked of Palma if she had a list of contractors that she could provide, and she said normally she would not have that because they're not through her department. Could that list be provided through, say, your mercantile department or some other department, so each and every landscaper can get the proper notification?
Well, that's what I had
Other
asked our clerk
resources?
for, but
At one time, landscapers were licensed in the city of Margate.
No longer?
As long as I've been
So all these landscaping companies that are through Margate are currently not mercantile, and we don't have any control over their liability, like insurance or anything of that nature. Is that correct?
They're doing work for private industry. The landscapers that do work for the municipality, we have their licenses.
Correct.
But if you hire someone, it's not our responsibility to make sure that they're.
Okay. All right. My next question is in reference to the parking lot. Has Exxon pulled any permits locally with Margate, with the state, with the government in reference to this contaminated site?
Well, I don't, so the way you phrased the question, I'm just going to answer it. So this site is documented and is on file with the DEP. There's a case number that's been ongoing for years and years and years. So it's the best I could say is that yes, they have an ongoing file with the DEP.
Okay. Next question is, there's 19 monitoring stations on this site. Have any of those monitoring stations indicated leaching of contaminants onto private owners' properties, not the city's property?
So I've been trying to answer these questions just to kind of, in the interest of public information, but I want to be perfectly clear. This site is under the control of a licensed site remediation professional. That is not me, is not our firm, is not affiliated with the city. The responsibility for this site will continue with that LSRP. Exxon will remain the responsible party for this site. And I'd love to give you an answer to your detailed questions, but I'm not the person to give that answer, and I don't want to mislead you or anyone with
I understand.
what I may say.
So I'm clear. So the city of Margate's doing a lot, and they're going to remediate this under the pretenses that Exxon Mobil keeps their word and pays the cost and takes care of the issue. But now we have another third party involved. What is the LSRP? What is that?
An LSRP is a licensed professional who is accountable to the NJDEP to ensure that the site is in compliance with DEP regulations.
Are they working for Exxon or the city of Margate?
They work for Exxon.
All right, thank you.
Stephen Altman, 9003 Amherst Avenue, Margate. For Mr. Abbott, just a quick question. When the dredging was disallowed, were you given some sort of an explanation as to why? The dredging site?
No, we were not. They said they want to reserve it just for their use. It's over 700,000 cubic yards. I don't believe there's any waterway behind Absecon Island that needs that much dredge material, especially behind Atlantic City. I'm a boater, very active. We talked with them for years that this was going to be one of our sites, our locations. So we're going to have to go up and have a meeting with them and see what this is all about.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add a little more detail to that, it's not so much that they didn't give us a reason. The reason is that Department of Transportation is going to use it for intercoastal dredging. And while it was our targeted location for all of these years, and they've kept us along with this process, whenever they made that decision within the last year or 2 years, they failed to notify us that it was no longer an option, and we kept moving along. So they, at some point, said it was available, and then at a certain point in time, they said, well, now we decided we're going to use it, and they're in charge, and they take priority, so we now have to look for another location.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Hello, Diva Minter, 615 North Delavan Avenue. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Johanna, I don't mean to contradict you, but we have found it's an ordinance, it's Chapter 169 on landscapers commercial, about the licensing, about permit application information and operating requirements. So perhaps there is a record of permitted landscapers. So it's Chapter 169 landscapers commercial, and it says, for mercantile licensing, see Chapter 183, and property maintenance, see Chapter 215. So, yeah, so I don't know if that that may be a list. But I just wanted to say thank you very much about the blower ordinance. I'm sorry I came in a bit late, but everything sounded very positive. It sounds like all three of you are in favor of phasing out the gas leaf blowers and that we will get an ordinance. And did I hear that right, or was I just, was it wishful thinking?
No.
Thank you very much. So it really is a quality of life issue, and it's definitely a major health hazard. So you've really, taken very positive steps for improving both for us here in Margate. And I love the idea of the bike path on Washington and everybody getting out and walking and biking more. And just for all of us to be aware that while we still have the gas leaf blowers, they are emitting copious amounts of basically poison are coming out of them, and they don't dissipate in 24 hours. When the lawn workers are gone and you don't hear them crashing in your ears anymore or waking you up, those emissions, that unburned fuel is still hanging in the air. So when you ride your bike through it, when you walk through it, when you're strolling your babies and children and walking your pets, it's still going into our bloodstream, and we're still being exposed to it, unfortunately. And we know that the reason so many towns are banning them is because of the health hazards and because of the known cancers and respiratory illnesses and asthma, stroke, and all kinds of bad things that we don't want. So this Sunday, Palm Sunday, Passover, at 9 a.m., our whole house was awakened to the sound of a leaf blower 3 houses down. And my understanding was on Sunday that is not allowed by a commercial landscaper. Is that correct? That they shouldn't be doing that? Well, they were. So I did call the police, and the truck drove away before. I never saw the police come. But altogether on Sunday, there were 3 professional landscapers, and they were using blowers. And I called a second time, and the police officer I spoke to wanted me to prove this was a commercial landscaper. And I said, well, who else would, they have a truck, they have professional equipment. Who else would be doing this on Palm Sunday? So then I was asked, well, did you see money exchanged? And I had to give an exact address. It was on Bay Shore between Douglas and the next street. So I just wanted to ask if this happens again on Sunday, because it's really the only day that we have for peace and quiet. I understand that homeowners could use theirs if they choose to, but not the professional landscapers. And I guess I'll call the police again and complain about it.
It's difficult sometimes, whether it is the homeowner or whether it's just somebody.
It definitely wasn't the homeowner. They were professional.
Like the mayor was saying,
Yeah.
sometimes, or the commissioner was saying, sometimes people come up in a truck and they are paying them, say, cash. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
But even right, even if I saw them hand money, I don't know what they're giving them money for. But
Yeah, and just to add, I think we mentioned at the last couple meetings, Commissioner Blumberg's working to hire another code enforcement officer. The idea is that we hire a part-time person that can cover weekends, evenings, that will take pressure off the police department to focus on these things.
Well, thank you again very, very much. And as part of Sustainable Margate and advocates for transforming landscaping, I told you if you need any support or help, I would be happy to. But it seems like you're doing a great job. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Very much.
Stephen Altman, 9003 Amherst Avenue, Margate. Regarding fines that are collected, I had asked a question a few meetings ago. Could that be used to hire code enforcement people in the future? Is there a reason why that couldn't be used?
I believe we've gone down this path, and Lisa would have to answer this, but I believe if you're going to dedicate funds from something like that, you'd have to set up a trust to do it. You can't just just say revenue in going towards this in the budget, the way the municipal budget is done.
So that,
Similar to what we do for the parking. I mean, we have this discussion with our parking fees, whether the police can use that for, traffic maintenance and things like that. But it basically goes into the general fund, and then
general fund.
we can create a budget item that allows this and, essentially say it's going to that, but it can't be a direct
Thank you.
direct payment.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to close public comment?
Motion.
My name is Regina Albergo. I live at 17 South Madison Avenue in Margate. I'm representing the senior citizens of Margate. It is my understanding that...
Regina, if we can only, this public comment's only for items in this meeting.
Oh,
So at the next meeting, we'll let you speak in general public comment.
then after this is over?
This is our workshop meeting where we
Oh, that's
discuss.
what I thought. I thought it was open for public comment.
That's at the next meeting. So,
Okay. All right,
yeah,
I'll
we'll
wait.
call you up after.
Okay, all right.
All right, is there a motion to close public comment during workshop?
Motion.
Second.
Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Horn?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Horn?
Yes.
All right, we will, because we do still have a busy agenda, we will roll right into the next meeting.